FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
Nobody is asking you, what do you think Justice Scalia is going to do in this case? Because if California can't appeal, he will come out here personally himself and lay down on the tracks to prevent any gay couples from getting married. But a number of the people have asked about three of the justices in particular. Many people have noted Justice Kennedy and his pivotal role on the court. Two questioners asked about Chief Justice Roberts and his institutional role. And one person asked, since Elena Kagan has been confirmed today, what's she going to do? So what do you think? We'll end with your sort of speculations on what the Supreme Court might do and how you go about counting the tea leaves.
Well, first of all, I should say that Ted and I have a deal. His responsibility is to get the 5 justices who voted for him on Bush v. Gore. My job is to get the 4 justices that voted for me. We will then have all 9, it'll be unanimous. On a more serious note, we are not taking any justice for granted on this issue, and we're not giving up on any justice. This is a complicated issue. It's an issue on which people have had conflicting views over the years. It is an issue in which I would hope and I expect that the court, when it gets this case, is going to look at the evidence that we made in this record. We've made a record that's never been made before in court. We have findings of fact, and as you said at the beginning, every court as you go up, has an entirely free shot at what the law is. They don't have to give any deference at all to what a so-called lower court has thought about the law. But the findings of fact stand unless they can be demonstrated to be clearly erroneous. And I would hope that every justice on the court would look at this record and look at these findings and follow the law as it applies to these findings of fact. And if they do that, I think we ought to win every one of those justices. Now, I'm not saying we're going to, but I'm saying we're not giving up on anybody. This is a situation in which we have seen in the past, as you move towards greater equality, people have to abandon decisions that they made before. People have to abandon positions. And I'm very conscious of the fact that we're going to be arguing this to judges that are of my generation. My generation is a generation that grew up with not only discrimination against gays and lesbians, but violence, attacks, all sorts of, when President Eisenhower, along with most of the justices on in the courts, when I was in high school, they were in high school, President Eisenhower issued an executive order that said no gay or lesbian could be employed by the federal government in any capacity, not as a mail carrier, not as a clerk typist, in any capacity. You had laws prohibiting gays and lesbians from various employments, not merely allowing employers to discriminate, but forcing employers to discriminate. That was the culture in which those of us of a certain age grew up. And what you have to do is you have to ask judges to put those cultural influences aside. That's hard to do, but judges are taught to do that. And the best judges do that. And so I'm hopeful that when we get to the court with the findings that we have now, and I think with the greater recognition that we have over even a decade ago of the need and deserving nature of equality in this country. I would hope that every one of the 9 justices would listen to these arguments